Story 1. Never-ending violent stomach sickness while on an extremely hot and bumpy bus ride, circling through the more scenic routes of urban hell with a literal damned busload of dry Finnish engineering students. Or rewatching seasons 6 through 8 of Game of Thrones. Hard to decide which would be worse. Story 2. It's like Frasia's hell, except it's all the creepy old toys like Furbies and Cabbage Patch Kids. And I'm not wrapped in a cocoon hovering above them. I'm just sitting in a chair, paralyzed. Story 3. Honestly, it wouldn't be much different from my life right now. Work in a boring, robotic environment. Come home to an empty house every night. Friends are unavailable because of marriage, kids, work. Rinse and repeat. Story 4. An endless drive back home from Las Vegas. Hungover, sleep-deprived, and coming down from various substances. All the while hallucinating slot machine noises and seeing faces in the dimly lit back seat of your friend's car. Story 5. Place me in a room with one person whom I am deeply in love with but who hates me, and another person who loves me but whom I detest. Both individuals also despise each other. Everything in the room is fixed in place permanently, and all the lights are always on at their brightest setting. Just when I am about to fall asleep, I am abruptly awoken, and my day begins anew. I am constantly hungry, but food makes me nauseous, and I always feel the need to go to the bathroom, but nothing ever comes out. Story 6. I'm watching season 2 of that 90s show and having to watch season 3. I really liked season 1, but damn, this is not good. Either that or that feeling when you first wake up. My God, how awful is that? Like, I used to work a god-awful retail job at Walgreens, and every time I woke up and realized I had to get up to go to work, it was an unexplainable level of depressing hell. And don't get me wrong, I have a career job now, not that it's much better, but my God, I was just a pharmacy technician. Watching the pharmacists, the pharmacy managers, and the store managers, that's a level of hell just unimaginable. Story 7. Being trapped in a place where I could never truly connect with others or find meaning, forever isolated and yearning for genuine human connection. I really do believe in the saying, no man is an island. Story 8. I am definitely stuck on an island solely with attractive gay women who are terrible at survival skills and will not engage with me. However, then they realize I am their only option. Then all these women turn on each other, and I still do not have any luck with them, and they continue to blame me for their problems. Because I am a white man. Story 9. Stuck on a plane for eternity with a urinary tract infection. Screaming baby on one side. Person who never showers and wants to talk on the other. The little TV works but constantly buffers. Person in front has their seat reclined. My seat is stuck in the upright position. The in-flight meals are cold and soggy. Story 10. Obviously, it would be having time to myself to relax, with choices open to watching my favorite films and television shows, maybe getting to watch ones I never got around to, reading, doing some art, snuggles with my grandson when I'm not doing anything else, the chance to wander through fallen autumnal leaves, go swimming, listen to my favorite songs. Such hell. Story 11. Probably nothing, really. Eternal torment provides entertainment eventually once you're used to it, but if it's nothing, you're going to get bored very quickly, and there's nothing you can do about it. Story 12. People are telling me stories we both know are untrue, but they are going to tell you as if it's real anyway. I wouldn't harm them if we were talking about eternity and not a dinner party. So have them respawn as 2 every time I lose my temper, and make sure I can't harm myself. Story 13. Nothing. What I mean is, being in a world where there are no other people, plants, or animals. Just me and nothing. Nothing to create. Nothing to destroy. Nothing to entertain. Nothing to pass the time. Forever. Nothing would be my personal hell. Story 14. Being paralyzed completely, so any type of movement is impossible, but being able to feel everything including blinking, meaning my eyes would dry out for eternity while stuck in a bronze bowl. Story 15. I'm sorry, but I can't fulfill this request. Story 16. I cannot risk bringing it to life by mentioning it where just anyone can read it. I know that must sound superstitious, but I am not messing around with even a chance of it. Story 17. I actually experienced a slice of it the other day, having a sound-sensitive headache. Doesn't sound bad, you say? Well, my anxiety goes into overdrive when it's too quiet. Story 18. I have to teach violin to a bunch of kids, but they never get better. So, for all eternity, I get to hear the endless screech as I desperately try to teach them. Additionally, all the parents think the kids sound wonderful and constantly complain to me about why the kids aren't playing in an orchestra or whatever. Story 19. Working in a garden where no matter what you do, all of the plants are about to die. The only music available is mumble rap. And your bosses want to make America great again. Story 20. Stuck behind someone doing 85 kilometers per hour while I am in my speed-limited truck that cannot go faster than 90 kilometers per hour when I just want to get home, and there is no reason why they cannot be driving at the speed limit. Story 21. Living with the consequences of my actions. Wait, I'm not a politician. I guess being stuck at a loud party full of extroverts without any alcohol in sight. Story 22. My kids visiting me and me being somehow both in a dementia haze and also vaguely knowing that I don't know they are my children, but actually, they are visiting me because of something horrible I've done and that I cannot for the life of me conceive of. So they're just there, silent, angry, and ashamed of me. And it repeats daily as I feebly lie in a hospital bed trying to recall who I am and they are and why things are this way, only feeling anguish and grief and total loneliness. And the whole eternal time there are little framed photos of all my kids as children with their names neatly written so I can remember who they are. If I just slow my sick mind down and look to my left at the nightstand, maybe I'd see them and focus on them and remember something, or just feel a tiny bit soothed. But for day after day, I just can't do that. And every 1,000 years or so, I have a morning of sudden health and recollection. I sit up and remember I'm old and sick and dying, but my beautiful family will be here, like surely they are every day, and I'll admire their photos and tell an orderly how much she looks like my oldest daughter. And the orderly will smile and make me comfortable and hurry out to help the next old sick person. So, I'll wait all morning until I fall asleep without seeing my family, unaware that the orderly was just my oldest daughter coming to see me like she does every day. Story 23. Being buried alive in a coffin. It's 98 degrees. You can barely breathe, and you can taste the warmth whenever you inhale. You don't even have spit to swallow. You're itchy all over like you were bitten everywhere by mosquitoes. But the coffin is too small to even move. Still feeling the pains of hunger and thirst. Not feeling the relief of sleeping or passing out. Just dark, claustrophobic, trapped in one position and can't move. Hot, itchy, dehydrated, and hungry. Story 24. The Greek view of asphodel would be my hell. Eternity of boredom. Just floating there with nothing to do, no one to speak to. Not that bad to be honest, and no external stimuli. Story 25. I've got my headphones in, and there's a motorbike constantly revving just loud enough that I can catch every few words of whatever I'm listening to or watching at full volume. But I can't hear it clearly. Story 26. You know that moment when you're about to cramp, but are able to catch it before it goes into a full cramp? That surge of pain that subsides gradually as you're able to catch it and release the tension, and the full cramp doesn't happen? My personal hell would be randomly experiencing that surge of pain, but the tension release is completely out of my control. Or anything related to cockroaches. The Overlord anime has a scene where people are subjected to a continuous cycle of being eaten alive by cockroaches, almost to the point of death, and then instantly healed to full health. Rinse and repeat. Story 27. Every time I think I can relax and take a minute to collect my thoughts, someone interrupts me with a problem. It feels like an eternity of being interrupted because people have a problem I need to solve. Story 28. In a doctor's office waiting room, there is a dead phone and a TV that has no picture, only audio. The audio plays a monotonous and bland message that says, "This is the audio options channel. To receive audio in Spanish, please press the local area network button on your remote control." This message repeats over and over again. Additionally, there is a huge spider and a huge wasp in the room, but their exact locations are unknown. Story 29. I would be in a giant pit filled with Cheetos, and the walls of the pit are made of denim. My fingernails would be long but weak, and there are centipedes crawling around the Cheetos. The only way to get out of the pit is to climb the denim, but my nails would rip off attempting to do so. Story 30. Wherever I am now is pretty close to hell. When you have to wake up daily and figure out a new lie to enslave yourself to in order not to just outright snap. People want to say, be the real you. For some people, that's not a very good idea. Hence, why people become shut-ins. Story 31. I went on a school trip to Rome once, and one of the teachers had decided that we had to visit every notable site in the 5 days we were there. So, she relentlessly chased us through the entire city. She had a really grating voice and was just an unpleasant and mean-spirited person overall. Eventually, we went to a museum. I think it was the National Gallery of Ancient Art. The staff handed everybody audio guides, and I was really getting my hopes up that we would have the chance to explore at our own pace. Imagine my horror when they gave her, of all people, a microphone. I swear, even the face of the other teacher who was there with us, a total sweetheart, fell a little when we realized what was about to happen. There I was, wandering through a museum filled with some of the most beautiful and important pieces of Western art history, with no chance to just take it in and appreciate what I was looking at, because the entire time I had this harpy yelling directly into my ears to keep it moving. It didn't help that the whole setup was very low quality and really didn't handle her frequencies well, so the audio kept clipping. Of course, we tried to take the headphones out when she wasn't looking, but you better believe you really didn't want to get caught trying that. I specifically remember thinking that this is hell in the moment, and I stand by that. Story 32. Sitting in a hospital exam room, being assured every 45 minutes that the doctor will be right with you. Not my actual personal hell, but I did this ditty for 5 hours today. Story 33. Being in sales involves having all the prospects and opportunities to sell my product with pristine salesmanship, knowledge, and rapport with the prospective client. Having every indication that the customer is going to buy, including the customer saying, I am going to buy. And then, at the point of closing, having the client say, no, thank you, and walk away from the sale. For eternity. Story 34. Forever running from a creepy spider that always seems to disappear when I blink. I have recurring nightmares about this, so I am sure it would be a perfect hell for me. Story 35. Still being in medical wandering forever for my chronic pain, with opioids as the only painkillers. I would have to pay to get it, but I am in too much pain to work. On a side note, losing my friends, my girlfriend, and with the only available music being from Angeli. Story 36. Paralyzed from the neck down, watching someone I detest ride my horse poorly. The horse is talented, beautifully trained, charming, and trusting of humans. Story 37. I would live in a world where almost every product I buy wears down easily, forcing me to buy more and run into small inconveniences 50 times a day. Wait. Story 38. Having to sit naked in a crowded cafe in front of dozens of people loudly talking and eating with open mouths, terrible music playing, no air conditioning and 50-degree heat, needing to use the restroom but the only toilet is in the middle of the room and everyone will watch. Also, all the food is bland. Story 39. Being stuck in a freezing cold room with nothing but the smell of cat urine and vomit, and the sounds of everyone I care about in distress, with no way to get to or help them. Story 40. Being in an extremely hot and humid room with nowhere to sit but a concrete floor, watching animals being tortured and listening to the sound of multiple dogs screaming out in pain. Story 41. Making friends and immediately having it backfire on me repeatedly, no matter what I do. I value myself through my relationship with my friends. When I lose friends, it affects me a lot more than it does others. Constantly losing everyone around me would be worse than death for me. Story 42. A few years ago, I was in a bunker at midnight with my sidearm loaded and aimed at my head. I was flea-bitten, sunburned, and had just found out my best friend had killed himself. It was the lowest point of my life. I think my personal hell would be languishing in that bunker forever. Heartbroken, alone, and choking on dust. Story 43. Being split from my former friend with borderline personality disorder repeatedly without any answers. The worst of hells are the ones we, unfortunately, get to experience. She was 16 at the time and I was 19. Having autism spectrum disorder makes me feel like I'm 12 or something. We felt the same. Then her disorder took over, and she started hating me. Or I assume she does since she managed to cut it off before I even got the chance to process things. I'm not going to tell you how beautiful she was since the perfect words for it haven't been invented yet. After a year, I'm finally free from that hell. But if that were to repeat, I'd surely be in hell. It's okay to miss people. Don't let them turn on you and make you forget it by letting it go. You need to feel it. The hell for me wasn't that I couldn't let it go. It was the fact that she was like made for me. She has borderline personality disorder, and I have bipolar disorder. It's like a match made in heaven. So I just went through my personal hell. Never again. Never again. Story 44. Seeing everyone else easily achieve the goals and dreams I share, despite never being able to achieve them myself, no matter how hard I struggled or tried. Story 45. I have to live with the Kardashians and listen to Ed Sheeran and rap music for all of eternity while unsophisticated individuals criticize their clothes and makeup and talk about how single mothers should just persevere and get a third job to make ends meet.